How's it going, YouTube? Tyler the Hotshot Hauler here, guys. Guys, let's talk about how much money you can realistically make as a non-CDL hotshot. There's lots of videos out there. I've watched quite a few of them. I agree with some of them. I disagree with some of them. But the reality is, though, there is so many factors to how much money you can make that it really depends. So let's talk about all the factors. So the factors, first off, boil down to how much you want to work, if you want to stay local or if you want to run the road, and then basically, finally, how lucky you get. So, and what I mean by that is, well, if you only want to work 3 days a week, you're not going to make as much money as if you want to work 5 days a week. Pretty obvious. Two is, do you want to run the road or do you want to work locally? I preferred to stay closer to home. So I worked more locally. So when I worked locally, I made less gross income, but I was home almost every night, and my expenses dropped drastically because I was driving less and making money for basically time to sit around, or I was getting paid to secure cargo, X, Y, and Z. So it was different. And then finally, how lucky you get, guys. I mean, this is the this is the bread and butter thing that dictates your success in the trucking industry. When you're running the road, if you are in the right place at the right time with the right equipment, you're going to make a ton of money. But if you're not going to make money. And if you work locally, if the phone keeps ringing, you keep making money. If the phone stops ringing, you don't make money. It's pretty simple concepts, guys. And that is the one thing, though, about the trucking industry that I don't miss and that was incredibly frustrating is you only control a very small portion of your success. Everything is basically down to chance. It's like gambling odds a lot of the time. Let's get to it. How much money can you actually make from a realistic standpoint? Okay, guys, as a non-CDL hotshot, on the low end of your income, I was averaging about $450 a day locally on the very low end, and that was only working for like maybe half a day. Okay. However, my average was between $600 a day to $1,200 a day. My usual minimum from when I ran the road or when I worked locally was about $600. And on the high end, it was usually between about $1,000 to $1,200 a day. Sometimes it was more than $1,200, but the left and right boundaries were basically between $600 and $1,000. That is my safe boundary, okay? So if you work 4 days in a week, whether you run the road or whether you work locally, however you choose it, you know that you're going to make anywhere between $2,400 gross on the low end to about $4,000. And that was pretty consistent whether I ran the road or not. My highest grossing week that I had was, I think, $4,700. And that was done from running the road. Let's talk about those numbers. Okay, so that sounds like a lot of money, guys. Everyone's like, oh yeah, like that's awesome. I'm making $4,000 a week. Yes, it is, but it's not. And this is something that people don't understand in the business world of things. People don't understand how you have to leave money in the business. Too many hotshotters out there, they come into hotshot trucking and let's say they make $4,000 in a week, okay? So their direct expenses from the haul between fuel, food, any other types of stuff is probably about 33% of that. So let's just say it's $1,500. Let's just say it's $1,500. So they have $2,500 left over. Well, what do many bad owner-operators do? They take that $2,500 and they pay themselves. So now they've taken all money out of the business besides covering direct expenses. Okay, that's great. You get a paycheck, but your business has no money. So when something goes wrong, then they might not have the money to cover that expense. Here is how it probably, in my opinion, the best way of running your business to make sure that you set yourself up for success, okay? So basically how I did it was I took 33% estimated for direct expenses, and usually it ranged between about 28% and about 35%. So I just say pay a third of whatever I bring in gross is going to direct expenses. Then I would take the other third and I would leave that in the business for planned expenses, unless if I knew I had a major expense coming up. Then I would leave more money than a third in the business. Then I would take 33% to repay myself on my promissory note loan. However, when stuff goes wrong in the business, guys, all that 33% that I paid myself, I never saw it. It stayed in the business, because when you got to get new tires, when you have to get repairs done, when stuff goes wrong, you don't make money on yourself. You have to leave that money in the business. Every penny you have goes to keeping your equipment running. That is how it works as an owner-operator. Okay, guys? So let's break it down. You make $4,000 gross in a week. Okay? Now, automatically 33% of that, I guarantee, is going to be gone for direct expenses. Okay? So that's basically, let's just call it $1,300. Okay? So $1,300 is gone. So that leaves you with $2,700 left over gross. So now, if you leave 33% of that in the business, let's say that's another $1,300 gone. You have $1,400 left over, okay? Let's just say. If you pay that to yourself, and let's say that week you were fortunate enough to only work 60 hours that week, okay? And I'm talking everything. I'm not just talking drive time and on-duty time. I'm talking all your invoicing, your maintenance, your time on the phone, your time filling out paperwork. Guys, I could go on and on and on for almost ever about all the stuff you have to do as an owner-operator. Okay, so let's just say by some magical way that you were somehow able to only work 60 hours. That comes out to about 22, 23 bucks an hour, okay? Which is not too bad. Okay, well, realistically, you probably worked closer to 80, so that's going to drop it down to about, let's call it $17 or $18 an hour. Okay, now, you got paid no overtime for any hour over 40 hours a week, no benefits, so you have no 401k, no other forms of retirement, no health care, nothing. And to finish it all off, you probably actually didn't even bring in $1,400, because I will tell you from experience, your direct expenses maybe didn't come up to 33%. Maybe you got killed on fuel costs. Maybe you blew a tire. Maybe you got a ticket. I mean, there's so many variables to what eats your money up. Then your planned expenses, I guarantee you, don't always stay at 33%. You might have to make your quarterly payments. You are going to probably have to save up for maintenance. You are going to have a boatload of expenses, guys. And that is the point that I'm trying to make here, is people see dollar signs, but they don't know where that money goes. So realistically, $4,000 gross in a week, I will tell you from experience, you as the owner-operator are probably only going to bring in about $1,000 of that, okay? That's terrible, guys. And that is with, like I said, no retirement, no benefits of any kind. And then depending how you have your business set up, you're going to have to pay taxes on that. Depending how you have your stuff set up, that's a different discussion. Okay? So you made even less money than $1,000. That is my point, guys. The business of hotshot trucking is brutal to make money in. The trucking industry right now is horrible as it is, but when you are non-CDL, I'm going to tell you, unless if you are able to maintain basically $4,000 a week, you're not going to make any money as a non-CDL. The last thing that nobody thinks about, playing constant catch up with money. Okay, so $4,000 a week is fine and dandy, guys, but let's say the following week you only make $2,000. Let's say you take half the week off. Okay, so you're only made $2,000 gross in a week. So you have this gap to fill now of your $2,000, basically. Okay, then let's say in a couple weeks down the road, something happens and you have to spend an absorbent amount of money to put your equipment on the road. So now you have to pay all this money that you have saved up for repairs, and you have all that downtime. So now you might only be able to get 3 days of work again. And then let's say you want to go on vacation or something else happens in life. Guys, the point I'm getting at is unless if you run the road constantly and you have constant flow of income, you are going to get behind in your bills. Yes, you might be able to cover everything, but your salary as an owner-operator just turned into you're working for free. People don't realize, guys, the overhead as a business owner will absolutely destroy you. Your overhead as a non-CDL hotshot, especially in your first year, is going to probably be no less, and I'm talking all your equipment paid for. All of my equipment was 100% paid in full. My monthly overhead was $2,000 a month. Okay? If you are financing, forget it. Your monthly overhead is going to be close to over $3,000 a month. And let me tell you guys, unless if you work nonstop and have tremendous luck, that is the only way that you are going to succeed as non-CDL. It is too difficult to try to make money as non-CDL. And I'm telling you, don't listen to some of these other channels out there that tell you, oh, this is how much money you're going to make, because I'm telling you the honest truth from somebody who has been there, done that, seen the numbers, accepted the reality of you are not going to make enough money as non-CDL for your time to be a business owner. You are not going to do it. And the reality is, it is too difficult to try to make money, especially in these trying times with our terrible economy and everything else going on. As a non-CDL owner-operator, you are wasting your time. That is the reality that I have to say on this matter. Guys, learn from my mistakes, learn from my successes. Do not make the mistake of getting into hotshot, non-CDL, thinking that you're going to make all this money. It is not going to happen. I'm telling you, I've been there, I've done that, I've worked my ass off to the bone. It is so much harder than everybody thinks, and until you are in it, you will not understand it, okay? So, anyways, guys, that is going to sum up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to ask, guys. I'll be honest with you. I mean, you know, it was great being an owner-operator. I got to work when I want. I got to take vacations when I want. I didn't answer to anybody, but the reality is, at the end of the day, all that freedom, you have to be very, very disciplined and all that type of stuff, because your overhead will come back to eat you alive if you don't keep money flowing in, and that is vital. And it is really, really tough to do that as non-CDL, guys. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.